Good morning. Today's video is on an awesome question from, I think it was somebody on YouTube, and actually I searched for it for a long time before making this video, but I can't find it. The question was simply, any tips about waking up? And it was about my sleep video about going to sleep. So yes, I have awesome tips for waking up. I have a morning routine, and it's pretty scientifically based and also anecdotally based from a lot of my heroes. So I'm going to share that with you today. This is the gym where I have part of my morning routine. Okay, so welcome to Mind Games TV, episode 12, morning, waking up. Okay, so first of all, before I came down here, I just woke up, I had a glass of water. Okay, the reason that I had a glass of water is because I'm right now in a pretty fasted state, like I would say almost ketonic, in that I don't have a lot of blood glucose running through my system. Okay, liver stores anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours of blood glucose, and after you use that, you are pretty much running on ketones. And so in the morning, you have this naturally high ketonic state that is rather glucose deficient, and I really like this state. I think that if you talk to anybody who's ever done a keto diet, you will hear a lot about their brain and how creative they were during that phase of their life. And there's pretty so-so evidence, like not very proven, but there's pretty so-so evidence that that ketonic diet is really healthy for the brain, like in terms of long-term health, dementia and Alzheimer's and things like that. So it appears to be kind of a superfood for the brain, ketones. And I'm not getting into the science of that. I could have an entire podcast on ketones and ketonic diet and ketonic state. So what you should do is head over to Reddit Keto and just understand that it's basically a non-glucose diet. So you want to run on essentially fats, not even so much proteins, because proteins can go through glycolysis through the Krebs cycle and get turned into glycogen. So it's pretty much completely based on lipids and fat, and this diet means that your brain will not have any sugar to run on, which means that your body will produce ketones to power the brain. And it was really important that we evolved the ability to not use glucose in the brain, but we can't use fat because it can't get through the blood-brain barrier. So we have this other thing. Ketones, by the way, are the thing that kill you if you're diabetic. So it's not like a good molecule. It's not like a bad molecule. It's just like all other molecules. It's bad if there's too much, bad if there's too little, that kind of thing. Okay, then I have meditation. So sometimes that's seated meditation. Sometimes that is physical meditation, running, walking, being in the gym. I try to make sure that I don't have anything else happening then. So I'm focused completely on the task that I'm doing. That's important. Gym plus music. Okay, music might be okay, but gym plus like podcast or something? No. Running plus podcast or something? No. Focus on your body, focus on the experience you're living, focus on the world. This is the key aspects of meditation that allow you to have experience. So you're trying to avoid experiential avoidance. So you don't want to be avoiding the experience you're having. You want to be focusing on it with clarity. That's the kind of mental toughness, focus breeding activity that I like to do first thing in the morning. Okay, then I have a creative task. This is usually something that I have left over from around 7 p.m. the day before. So whatever the thing was in the evening that I spent anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes focusing heavily on. And remember, this is in the evening, before my circadian rhythms start to go down. So you don't want to do it in the last 3 hours before you go to bed, or you can mess with your circadian rhythm and that's your sleep recovery. But I actually just went to a conference on that yesterday that reinforced a lot of my beliefs again about the science of this. It's still pretty solid. So careful about stressful activities right before you go to bed. But anyway, so I do this around 6 or 7 p.m. I'll have something I work intensely on for a while, then I'll set it aside. I'll let the whole evening time plus the whole night work on it for me in my subconscious. Then I'll wake up and I'll work on that, whether it's just journaling about it or putting down my thoughts, or like this, making the video. So I laid this out and set up all my videos around 6 p.m. and then I wake up now and I'm doing it. Okay, and then I have journaling. So I journal for 5 minutes. I use a template from the 5-minute journal, and you can find it at the end of this video. I'll talk about that in a second. Basically, I do 3 things. I do my Gratefulness conditioning. Gratefulness conditioning is a technique that is pretty popular among high performance psychologists and high performance trainers. That is based on the research of Carol Dweck on growth mindset, and also research on gratefulness just in general. So grateful people are just more mentally tough and mentally resilient, and they have the ability to achieve higher levels of performance with well-being. So gratefulness conditioning is pretty easy. You just list things you're grateful for like every day consistently, and you start to live in that kind of mindset. Okay, and then I do goals for the day, like 3 things that I want to accomplish today. It's based on the concept of essentialism, which is that you're focused on being effective instead of efficient. So lots of people try to be efficient, shove a bunch of stuff into a day, get as much as they can, to-do list, blah, 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 blah. High performers are effective. They do one thing really well, and no matter what day it is, they try to do that one thing that they know is going to be important. So effectiveness much greater than efficiency. If you can get the one thing done every day that's actually important, you'll be ahead of 95% of the population. So part of the morning is identifying that one thing, which is part of my morning routine, which is part of the journal. And then what's the other thing that's in the journal? Yeah, just success triggers to like help that happen. So I can go over that in another video, but it's basically, success triggers are basically small little goals that are set up to get you to do the very first step in a process and make it a win. So small little wins, small wins. Okay, after the journal, I will eat about 30 minutes in. So 30 minutes into the morning, I'll eat. So the reason that I don't eat right away is because when you wake up, the symptoms related to waking up are not really related to hunger. They're related to thirst. Okay, you can fast for a long time without feeling hunger, and especially if you train yourself not to do it. Like it's just this kind of low rumbling there, and you can focus the brain. What the brain really needs is water. And so when you wake up and you're like groggy and like take a drink and look what happens 5-10 minutes later. You'll notice you're not starving. Okay, the body's craving food. Why? Because we get a ton of our hydration from food. So if you wake up and eat food, you're hydrating yourself. So wake up and drink water, maintain your ketonic state, and get rid of the symptoms, and go about your 30-minute morning routine. Then you'll probably be hungry, obviously, because you just exercised and journaled and did creative tasks and stuff like that. So then I eat, and my diet is, I'll go into that later, and supplement. I can go to my supplements later in a different one too. And then I start my day. So that's my morning routine. By the way, phone call. Click. That's a stranger. I better answer it soon. Okay, so I don't supplement stimulants in the morning. Caffeine, coffee, stay away from it. The reason is because you have this nonstop rise of chemicals related to circadian rhythm when you wake up that is unstoppable. Like it's just going to be plodding through, and it's going to bring you to a very heightened state 1.5 to 2 hours after you wake, and there's nothing you can do about that. So take advantage of that state of your body and get used to that rise. Go up with the chemicals to that point. Okay. Now I will use a stimulant 2.5 to 3 hours into my day if I'm like flagging a little bit and I really want to focus. So I'll hit the caffeine then, anywhere from 70 to 100 milligrams, and I usually use it in a pill and then drink decaffeinated tea or a second cup of tea that has been decaffeinated on the same leaves as the first one. So not like truly decaffeinated, but less caffeine. And in those cases, I'll probably take a 50 milligram pill, so half a pill. So the reason I do that is to make sure that caffeine, maintains its effectiveness for me and to use it when I need it. And so it's not related to my morning circadian rhythms, that I can get really focused then. So yeah, that's my morning routine. Those are my tips for waking up, for getting focused, for getting productive right away in the day. And let me know if you have any questions. Oh, go over to mindgames.gg/morning. Mindgames.gg/morning. You'll find a download package there. I'll put in like a 5 to 10 minute meditation script that you can use that I've done. I use mindfulness meditation. There's other sorts of varieties you can do. Then I'll also put in a download of the journal template that I use. 5 minutes. It's a 5-minute journal. You just answer 6 to 9 quick questions. Takes 5 minutes. I do it when I'm usually walking into work with my wife. We'll go over it. So I'll put those 2 things there. The journal, by the way, is from the 5-minute journal, so you can check out that webpage. I highly recommend them. It's really cool. They have an app and a physical product, but I just do it in Day One, which is like a journaling app for the iPhone. You could do it in Evernote. You could do it in Google Drive, whatever. You could do it on paper. Paper. So yeah, mindgames.gg/morning, and you can download the package of like morning things and the whole like checklist for this particular morning that I do, so that you make sure you're doing it right. All right. Catch you later.